Hi there everyone, thank you very much for the invitation today to recite some poetry. I should say my song would be Always Look on the Bright Side of Life. It's actually been about 18 years since I've been back at the University of Glasgow, having undertaken my undergraduate here, but working in economic development over the last 14 years. I think that kind of connection of research and knowledge into something practical and how we take it out into the world. I've been involved in a kind of wide variety of economic development roles, looking at things like community wealth building, inclusive development, SAT and community planning partnerships, and having recently finished a professional master's looking at the relationship between the public and private sector in relation to the wellbeing economy, I think there was a desire for me to actually take that step and look at how I could translate some of my own learning into something that was more accessible, how we could create, I suppose, that dialogue and do it in such a way that the language resonated with a wider audience. So I'm going to recite two poems to you today. The first is called The Economic Sea. We establish a journey, the open seas of capital, consumption and competition. There is no target set, an assumption of rising tides which will keep afloat all aspirations. Yet the only thing that trickles down is the rain, the economic storm on the horizon. It is clear to see we are no longer in the same boat. Some set sail sold in the stories of success from those that navigated these waters. Yet in many ways, these seas were searched and seized by those with resource. There was a struggle to plot a course which would lead to similar riches, an attempt to aspire to assets which were unachievable, where economic actors forged addiction to more material, missing the meaning of what matters. We bolstered our buoyancy, built on the biographies of our betters. Yet the waves gathered. The price for progress was not predicted. They tower above, taking their toll on those weighed down by their transactions. The crash comes to all. Yet those who have tradition on the economic sea are able to travail the new conditions. They advise new voyagers that their protections will be purged and they should steer directly into austere waters. Promises the tide will change as sure as the day becomes night, yet the ebb continues on the shoreline. There's a desire to narrate a new story in the grains of sand left behind. Individuals who remain to shepherd the water that remains, forsaking the folly of following in the footsteps of those who forge tales of fancy. We have the ability to question who benefits from continued growth, which fails to set a final destination, only a requirement for a limitless resource. We must embrace a future which connects us with our communities and peers overseas as we seize the opportunity to address shared challenges. No man is an island. Thank you very much. So, mindful we're almost at St Andrew's Day, this poem is called A Toast to Scotland. I wander this dear green place, looking for the space to think, to contemplate the fate of those to come. I was never much one to think to myself, parking those thoughts on the shelf. I head up the high road, trying to justify what I look to do. Yet I can't speak for you, a nation which set the pace. I stop at every passing place, a chance to embrace that which has gone before. Yet the road ahead requires more. Every shore which surrounds the land brings a different message in the sand, yet washed away. The saltire flutters in the ever-present wind, a welcome sight night or day, a sense of being home, yet a quest to do more. Rooted in a passion which burns bright, the prose which ignites, a man's a man for all that. We look to the soul in the street for what they wear on their feet, dictating what they can eat. A fate from bairn to burial, built on where you're born. I could walk 5 miles or 100 more, knocking on the door, ringing the bell, knowing fine well that change can no longer wait. Well, being from a place with a well-kempt face, you may think I can't speak to your woes. I may look like your foes, suited and booted. Yet I look around and I found a nation that cares. Aye, a people that wears their hearts in their sleeves, who'd roll them up to give you a hand, who don't care from what land you come. When you're here, you're a Scot. What we can do together will help us weather any cloud, but the rain which inevitably falls. I'm no a man of few words, often known for a haver, yet I'd ask you a favour. On this day when we raise a glass, just pass your thoughts to your fellow Scot. by Blood or Bagpipes, Royal Jock Tamson's Bairns. Thank you very much.